All right, fellas. It's ugly, just as we expected. Got here a little sooner today. The sun's coming up. You see that? I don't know if you can see it, but the steam is just starting to come off the roof in the morning like that. We didn't get any rain overnight. No chance of water getting in. You see, I just scabbed this stuff together to, make it as good as possible. So now I'm gonna work on getting this brick, getting it dyed up. All the ones that are gonna show, I'm gonna sand down the faces a little bit so they're a little smoother. You can see some of the stuff, the texture is a little rough. So I'll just sand them down a bit, and then I'm gonna get ready to dye them. I brought a few dyes that I've just have in my shop to kind of try to match this brick a little bit. I have these liquid ones that you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, terracotta and buff. And then I have this red dye that's like, a little redder color. And then this one is an even deeper. This one's an even deeper color than that. It's like it's almost so red, it's like a purplish color. So yeah, just a few different types of red or, brick color. I've taken the buff and the terracotta and I've already put them on here, and I can see that both of these colors actually work with some of the colors in the brick. Obviously these brick have multiple colors in them, so we're not going to get it with just one color. Like, we could actually use both of these colors to kind of help blend and help match. You see there's a little bit of black in these brick too. I do have some black dye that I brought too. I just didn't bring it up here yet, that I might be able to mix in with some. Anyhow, it's not important. Like, if I just use either one of these, the terracotta or the buff, this one's the buff, this one's the terracotta. It's a little bit more of a red look. If I use just a combination of those two or just one or the other, either one's going to look better than tar. So I'm probably overthinking it a little bit. So I'll probably start with the terracotta, and it'll have a little deeper base. And if I want to put a little bit of buff on here and there over that to kind of give it like a multiple color look, like these brick have, maybe I'll do that. I'm starting with the terracotta color here, and I'm just gonna mix it up. Got a wall tie out of my toolbox, and this by itself will come off. It just won't stay. It will bleed off. So if you want some of this dye to be able to stick a little bit, you got to put something in it. And I use this, any kind of bonding agent probably would work. The C21 seems to work fine. So you just mix this up with it. I don't have specific amounts that I use. I just put some in it, and I'll mix it all together. And I know that, now it's got some of this glue in it, and it will really help it to be permanent and not want to come off. We don't want this to run down the roof with the first rain. So I'll mix that up and I'll start getting it on the brick. That's the first coat. Show you on this one. That's what it's looking like coming around. So a lot better than tar. We're gonna have to see what it looks like when it dries. So it goes on, like, it's a little bit orange when it goes on, and then it gets this deeper red as it starts to dry, the terracotta. And so there's a couple spots like this one here. It was easier for me just to go over the mortar joint on that one. So I'll just chisel that mortar joint or grind it. And so I'm gonna let this dry for a minute. The sun's starting to come out, and we'll see what it's gonna look like. While I was waiting for the stain to dry, I finished up, removing some of these shingles here, and got the ice and water shield on. It's nice getting ice and water shield on in the morning, just like beating the sun before the temperature rises, because man, you can pull the whole sheet of wax off and the grease won't stick to itself, you know. But man, the second you only have like a little bit of time to work with it, when the sun's, you know, the sun's just starting to come through here, and you can get it right where you need it, and then it starts to stick. So yeah, this is the color. This is dry here, so that's the color it's going to be. Obviously, you know, it doesn't match well. It's like a little bit too bright, so I think I'm going to get, you know, instead of messing with the darker colors, I think I'll go over it with some of the buff color I have, just kind of touch it up a little bit. And I know I'm not going to get it perfect, but you know, maybe just a little closer, because this is just a little brighter than the rest of this used brick. It's got that duller tone to it, so I'll hit it with that, and then probably that's going to end up, you know, being close enough for me. You know, the homeowner doesn't care either way. He didn't care if I left it tar or whatever. I told him initially that it was going to be all a mess above the flashing, but you know, it's just something I can't live with, so it's something that I wanted to do. All right, so I've gone over it with a little darker color now, just to add a little bit more depth to it, just to give the brick a little bit more color. Obviously I'm not going to get it perfect, but you know, it's better than tar, and when it fades, it might match pretty good eventually. But I'm happy enough with it. It looks okay. Once I point it up, once I get it all, you know, jointed in, it'll look a little better. I wish I could match it perfect, but I just can't. I can't replicate that kind of like baked look that it has, and I'm not going to stain every brick on here to make it match. So this is gonna have to be good enough. I got all my flashing cut. You notice I got different sizes here. Sometimes it's nice to have a couple different size rolls. This side's steep and this side's steep. Steeper roofs will usually get 8-inch lead. So I've got everything marked and cut out. And this side's getting 8-inch lead, but the pitch changes here on this backside in the little valley piece they put in. So these pieces are going to be like a shallower roof is going to need something wider. So the 12-inch lead works pretty good here. And that'll still give me like a 4-inch overlap minimum on the lead. I think it'll be more like 5 inches. And then I've got 2 pieces on the back that are going to be 12 inches. So yeah, I've got everything ready. Just got my hook blade on. You know, when you're using, or when you're doing roofing, you got to have some decent hook blades. I always have a straight blade for cutting stuff and a hook blade. The one thing that you don't want to do is use, I learned this the hard way. I had to pick up some hook blades. They only had 1 pack of hook blades at the hardware store. And so I bought a small pack of these things. These are Stanley hook blades. These are literally the worst hook blades I've ever used that I can ever remember. They're horrible. You think Stanley would have it figured out by now, but they don't. So those are new blades, but they're going in the trash because I've bought some of these Lennox hook blades, and these ones are just like infinitely better than those. I don't know why these are even shaped like that. Maybe to try to protect the shingle. So maybe they're just so roofers can try to cut on top of other shingles and try to protect the shingles underneath. I don't know, but they don't really work. These ones work. So little pro tip. All right, fellas, this is how it's going. That's how I decided to do it. So I did change the shingle here off the start. You know, before there was a shingle that came this way. I decided to weave this valley for the last couple. obviously I have to leave this open here so water that gets behind can drain out. You can't cover that with a shingle. I've got this tucked under that one. They're holding together. So yeah, this whole job's kind of going painfully slow, but I'm just kind of methodically moving through. So as I'm stepping up, you know, obviously I'm being careful not to nail the lead. So I'm staying away and I'm making sure I'm not going to hit the lead. And then as I'm going up, I'm using the silicone to hold the lead down from behind it underneath the lead. And then I'm going to silicone all the way up until my next mark here, where the next piece of lead comes over. And after I'm all done the lead, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to bag it in with some mortar. And then I'll just point it all up. I don't really want to do the mortar now. It's so hot today. It's really hot right now, and it's going to get hotter the next couple hours. So I don't want this mortar to just fry up against the lead. So if it starts to cool down later, I might do it later. I might damp it down a little bit and then do it later. Or if I get some cloud cover or something. But yeah, this is just how I decided to do it now. What else? So one of these had the lap over the other. I chose to lap this one over this one instead of this one over that one, for no particular reason except for that this peak is just slightly longer than that peak. Not by much, but and then also the water coming down from there is going to be hopefully getting pushed out by this valley, away from this corner. But if any water did run down here into this corner, there's no way that it can get through and under this like it just can't get in. So you know, it does look weird to have a lap like that on a downhill, but in this case you just have to have a lap on one side or the other. I chose this side, and it will be perfectly fine. You know, just little things like that you got to think of as you go. I'm trying to get these shingles back to, you know, these shingles were coming through here sagging, so you can see like a little bit of the reveal there and then nothing on that side. And then I'm trying to cheat it up here, and the next one I should have it coming back straight. That's why I've kind of nailed these ones high, because this next shingle is going to cheat up, you know, to the, I suppose I can't really go above that fabric, so I can only get a little bit at a time. But I should be perfectly straight on the next one or two. I should be straight, and this one is going to be straight on the next one. So, yep, that's how it's going. Just trying to battle. So this is how I go about nailing on the shingles. I'll just cut a piece and I'll put 2 nails in the end here, and that will help hold it for me. And then I'll come down this end and I'll just lift, and I'll see where my lead is, and I'll see where I gotta nail it. And I know that I'll put my finger on it right there, okay? If I put a nail right there, I won't hit the lead. So I'm gonna nail it right there, okay? Right here. Oh, I wonder if I could do this. I wonder if I could do this while holding an iPhone. Oh my word. No problem. Okay. Now I'm gonna be careful about where this next shingle falls, okay? If I can't get a full shingle in there, I'm gonna have to, see, I don't wanna nail in here yet, because I might have to break this. So you measure like 6.5 over from this line or so, or anywhere in here. But I don't want to put a nail there first, because I got to know where my shingle goes. I think I can get a full in there, but I'll just measure it. And if I can't, let me see. You think I'd be used to working with one hand by now? Oh yeah, so I can get a full in there. Once I realize that I can get a full in there, then I can nail wherever I want through here. But so say I've got 41 inches or something. I don't want to put a strip in there, and I don't want to put a strip there. So I'd have to get, you know, I'd have to cut a shingle to come over here somewhere and then cut another one to go in. You just have to make sure your nails aren't where the shingles meet, you know, underneath. All right, we made it up to this back piece on the valley here. And I want you just to look at how I've cut this piece and I've got this piece over it. So I'm gonna pull this back, and do you see immediately right there, there's actually like a crevice. The cut comes to the corner, and this is how most people do it, right? And so if you put that piece over there, it covers, but man, it doesn't cover by much, okay? So for me, this isn't really good enough. Like, I need to get more coverage than that. So what you have to do in this situation is get an apron piece to come down on here, okay? So I'm gonna bend up this apron piece to come out and bend around, because this bottom piece will let me bend around more than that piece will. So I'll get this ear to bend around so I have more coverage on this corner, and then I'll put that piece on. That's what it looks like. So this, just a small apron piece. I don't have to go all the way up the back side because this is all gonna be stepped in with the shingles. But I hope you can see that how this will work with this piece on top, but definitely more coverage on this back piece. So this is why I like to use apron pieces, because you just get a little bit more coverage. All right, this is how the valley is gonna go. This piece is cut and it runs under, right? You can actually see it coming out that side. I just ripped that back side off. And so now I'm gonna start turning the shingles the other way so I can step my flashing up the valley, okay? I'm gonna try to nail up out of the valley like this on all of them. I don't wanna be nailing in here because I don't wanna be nailing through my lead or the ice and water shield close to the chimney. So I'm gonna get these shingles stuck down in a way where they're not gonna be able to move. And I'm gonna weave my lead at the same time. So next I've got, once I place that piece of lead in, I've got this shingle that will come over like this, okay? And it'll keep going up the valley just like that. And I'll step the lead like I normally do. So, you know, this lead's real wide, so we might be able to go 2 shingles sometimes when we step. So I'll get that one in, get this shingle on, and I'll just keep working up the valley like that. This one's gonna be a little different. Let me show you guys a little different technique for this valley versus like a woven valley or a cut valley. This one's gonna be, this one's called the Cali Valley, California Valley. People might have other names for it, I don't know. But yeah, basically, it's gonna help me to make a nice clean edge here and to keep my nails up out of the valley and off of that side. So, well, you know, I don't mind if I gotta put a couple nails up in there, which probably I'll have to, but just especially down in here, I don't want nails here. So I'll show you as I go. You wanna know what's not funny? Finger pain. Finger pain is not funny. Every once in a while, you just have to remind yourself how much finger pain hurts. I just smashed my finger with the hammer, like full blown. You know, just trying to put a roofing nail in, so it's not bad. I hope it's not gonna blow my whole nail off, but God, you know, I'm usually pretty good at nailing, hammering nails. And you know what gets me every time? Like, I'm pretty confident swinging a hammer, I'm not gonna miss. Like, if I'm swinging at a nail, I'm not gonna miss. I'm not gonna hit my hand. What gets me every time is the hammer. When I get into a spot like this and I pull back with the hammer and I'm coming and the bottom end hits first, it gets me every time. It just trips the hammer and it makes you smash your hand. You know, it's like a bee sting. So, like, you know, every once in a while you got to get stung by a bee just to remember how bad it hurts. But yeah, I know, here I am, a grown man talking about finger pain, but I'm telling you, finger pain is probably some of the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I've been hurt plenty of times. It makes me want to cry more than going to a funeral. I actually lost this one. See that one with the line in it? Now the thing grows like all kind of weird ever since that happened. I was working with my brother at middle of winter time, and I smashed it with a steel bar against a rock, and it was just, my hands were so cold because it was so cold out that day. Our shelter got frozen in the mud, and we were trying to get the shelter out of the mud, out of this ditch, and just smashed it with the steel bar. And I swear that was probably the worst pain. Like, I think I could break my leg and not feel as much pain. Talk about like hot flashes and sick to your stomach. Like, finger pain's bad. And then that nail, this nail has never grown the same ever since. It grows with that line in it, and it kind of grows, I don't know. God, I gotta cut my nails too. I'm putting my nails on here on camera, and like, I swear my nails grow like faster than a normal human for some reason. Okay, now talk about getting stung. This guy's gonna come sting me. All right, this is how I ended up. I've got this thing, it's got good pitch on it. I did get some of that rubber stuff under here to help just hold it in place and seal up the edges where the shingles came in. So I just have my counterflashing piece. It's a little weird because this one comes in lower than this one, but I've got two different pitches of roof going on here. So I couldn't get this one up to there and make it look good. So it's not really going to matter because this counterflashing piece is going to go in at this level and then down onto this. And then I'm just, capping, and I've got my Cali Valley going. I got some pieces cut, ready to go in, and I'm going to go put those pieces on right now and get some mortar going. So this is how the Cali Valley goes. I just cut this piece coming in this way, and the point just goes to the very edge of this shingle here, and then the next one comes in, and you can see where the nails are. The nails stay way out of the valley, which is nice. And then this one comes down like this, and the point goes to the edge of the valley like that, and it makes kind of a nice clean valley. And also, I've got the tar strips on here. The tar is going to hold it down nicely. This one has tar on it. So it's all gonna, when the sun comes back and hits it again, it's gonna seal it all up nice and tight. And I don't have to nail into the valley. Well, here I am, about 30 minutes of light, and it's gonna be dark. Everything is, I've almost got the caps done. I gotta do some caps here, but I got it all jointed in. I shouldn't have jointed it this late, but I gotta try to get this job done. This stuff is gonna take a while to set up. It's super soft. At least it's not during the heat of the sun, but I'm really not happy with the color of the brick, so I'm probably gonna come back and touch those up, get them a little darker maybe. I just have to let them, I went over them again, and I don't know. I keep messing with them, but I'm not happy with it, and I'll have to come back after everything dries and try to just touch them up with some darker kind of color. They're too red, especially from this side. This side you can see from the driveway, so I'll come back and touch those up. Well, I screwed up. It took too long again, and I'm here in the dark. My headlamp on. I gotta joint this stuff up. It's just starting to get hard enough for me to join it, so I will get this jointed up, brushed up, cleaned up, and I guess I'll show you the final product when I come back and put the liners in the next week or two, and then I'll work on trying to get this brick to get it a little darker, just try to make it blend a little better. Boy, that was 2 long days. I haven't had to work until dark like that for a while, but man, it's tough working by yourself, and it's getting dark earlier and earlier, and just sometimes like for me, when I run into when I run into these issues, like I can't let stuff slide like I used to. I've just gotten pickier and pickier, and then when I see problems, I try to fix some of the other problems that are there, like the tar, the the joints. Like I wasn't supposed to do any kind of repointing there, but I just chose to do it because it just needed to be done to make it look better. And sure, I could have left it, but and I could have charged more for that job had I known I was going to do all that stuff. But for me, I wanted to do it. I'm not charging any extra for it. It is what it is. It took longer to do the job. It took me 2 days to do it. I'm all packed up and out of there now, and got everything in the truck I need for tomorrow. So I got another flashing job. The next one should be easier. So yeah, that's just me, and that's how I do business. I understand that other people don't do it like that, but when I give somebody a price to do something, I don't change it unless they specifically ask me to do more. And a lot of times I'm doing more on my own, and I'm okay with doing that because for me it's about the end product and doing a better job. So all right, that job is done. We're on to the next.